Welcome to Curious Confessions, where the line between reality and nightmare blurs. Before we unravel tonight's eerie encounter, it would mean a lot to me if you light up that like button and subscribe. Because in this place, curiosity isn't just encouraged, it's essential. Ready to uncover the next confession? Let's begin. I'm a 911 operator, and our district is woefully underfunded for the amount of strange calls we receive. I don't enjoy my job, but opportunities are scarce, and the call center was within walking distance of where I live. Calls range from normal things, like domestic disputes and burglary, to the not-so-normal, like shaved animals and structures not being where they should, or being where they shouldn't. To show you what I mean, this is a call I had that I thought was going to be in the normal category. 11:52 p.m., the phone rang. I dropped my book and put the receiver to my ear. 911, what is your emergency? A small voice replied in a quiet time. I need a policeman to come. Hearing a child's voice on the line was an unwelcome surprise. Sure thing, dear. Can you tell me what is going on? I could hear unsteady breathing. As much as I wanted to, I knew better than to ask again. Finally, the little girl replied, A bad man is in my house. My heart dropped. I had police ready to roll within minutes. Okay, can you tell me where you are and if you are safe? I waited for her reply. She spoke in a quieter voice. I'm at my house. I'm hiding in my closet under my clothes. I think he hurt my mommy. The matter-of-fact way she spoke was heartbreaking. I got an address from her and was told police would arrive in 5 minutes. The police are on their way. They will be there soon. Just stay quiet and stay on the phone, okay? We have a police radio set up in the call center. I turned it on and listened. Officer .1. Dispatch, we have arrived. The building looks run down and vacant. Approaching the front door is unlocked. Officer 2. Back door is also unlocked. Moving in. I could hear the creak of a door opening through my headset. They were in the right place. My heart beat hard. I whispered into the mic. The police are there. Let them search the house. The girl giggled. I know. I sat frozen. Her reply was wrong. It made me feel queasy. I jumped as the police radio came to life. Officer .1. I've got a body here. It's a real mess. Either an animal attack or a psycho with a bladed weapon. Continuing my search for the girl. The girl's voice humming a nursery rhyme floated through my headset. I couldn't turn it off. I couldn't hang up. One of the officers cussed loudly. What the hell is that? There was a gunshot followed by screaming. So much screaming. Ripping fabric, screams of pain, and unidentifiable wet sounds flooded my ears. As fast as it began, it ended. All that remained was the humming. With tear-filled eyes, I looked over at my supervisor, who had patched into my line. His face mirrored my own, shock and disgust. I nearly fell out of my chair when the girl's voice spoke again. Thank you. She giggled once more. Heavy breathing was all I heard as I reached over and hit the disconnect button. My supervisor walked over to the map of our county. He took a red pin from the box and pressed it into the map. It joined 100 other red pins, each marking an address that we wouldn't send responders to. Regular calls were marked with green pins. Yellow pins were for anomalous calls. And red, as mentioned before, was reserved for places that we would not return to. That last call I shared was a bit heavy. Luckily, we don't get ones like that super often. Yes, our map has a lot of red, but that's decades of records. And yeah, red calls have increased exponentially the last couple years. But things aren't always so dark here at Greenbrier 911. I was nearly at the end of my night shift when the phone lit up. I put on my headset and hit the button. Greenbrier 911, how can I assist you? The voice on the other end belonged to a woman, likely middle-aged and very... I typed the info into the computer and sent it to the police dispatch. Not a minute later, my personal phone lit up with a text. "Yo, Kylie, you mean to say moose?" Andrew was dispatching tonight. I confirmed that I did indeed mean a moose. "That's whack. I'll let the officers know." 20 minutes later, I was listening to the entire fiasco on the police radio. Animal control managed to tranquilize the animal only to find out it didn't fit through the door, so they ended up removing an exterior wall. Using a reach forklift, they lifted the poor animal out of the bathtub, but in the process, it woke up and tore free from its bindings. The moose fell to the ground, but appeared unharmed as it ran into the woods. As to how it got in there, your guess is as good as mine. Night shift is a different game altogether. It's like people shut off their brains once the sun goes down. It's hard to find people willing to pull graveyard, partially because of craziness, but mostly because of Jordan. Jordan isn't a local, most of us working the call center. He used to be a big shot editor for some East Coast newspaper before getting fired and moving to little old Greenbrier. Rumors flowed through the office as to why he got fired, none of them very flattering. But Jordan brought that upon himself. He was an ass. Show up 5 minutes late. Expect to be written up. Missed a detail on a call. Write up. Someone calls back to complain about you. You guessed it, a write-up. I'm a pretty quiet person that tends to stick to doing my job while on duty. I think that's the main reason Jordan doesn't bother me. I would still prefer day shift, but since I get an extra $1 an hour working nights and can get along with the night shift supervisor, I often find myself taking more night shifts than most. I received a call on one of my night shifts that still bothers me today. It had been a peaceful night. We had a single call earlier about a raccoon stealing garbage cans and hiding them in the woods. Animal Patrol had their hands full dealing with the 37-pound animal, but no one was harmed and the trash cans were returned to their owners. 5:02 a.m. The phone rang. "Greenbrier, 911. What's your emergency?" A male voice answered, his tone already frustrated. "Hi, this is going to sound dumb, but I'm stuck in my house." "All right, sir. Who am I speaking with, and are you in immediate danger?" The man replied, James Oswald." "No, I don't think so. It's just that I can't get out. Look, I just need someone to come open the door, okay?" "James, are you saying your door won't open? Have you tried your back door or a window?" James' voice took on a bit of annoyance. "Do you think I haven't already tried that? I've been stuck in here for a while and have tried everything short of breaking down a wall, okay? I need someone to come here and possibly break the door down." "Okay, James. I'll have the fire department out there as soon as they can. What is your address?" He seemed appeased. I got his address and forwarded it to the Greenbrier FD dispatch. I talked with James while he waited for help to arrive. He explained that he had tried kicking the door down, but couldn't do it. He even tried the windows, but they were security glass, and he couldn't break them either. I found that a little odd, but didn't comment on it. 30 minutes later, I got a message from the FD that they were on site. I heard their voices come on over the radio. "Greenbrier Fire Department, is anybody home?" There was no reply. They called out a few more times. "Greenbrier Fire Department, can you hear us? Are you in need of assistance? Hello?" James was quiet. I called out to him through my headset. "James, the fire department is at the front door. Can you hear them?" I could hear James breathing, but it was irregular at this point. Feeling uneasy, I radioed the first responders. "Hey guys, be aware something feels off about this." "Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. There ain't a whole lot going on here. The house is abandoned. Nobody's home, doesn't look like anybody has been for years. Front door was even unlocked." I could hear their footsteps echoing as he talked to me through the radio. "We're going to do a quick check of the entire area, but we've got busted open windows, unlocked doors, and enough dust to grow corn in." Feeling a little bit annoyed, I turned off the radio and focused on the headset. Okay, James, is this some sort of prank? I heard what sounded like a sniffle, and James's voice returned. Please, please don't hang up. Whatever you do, just please don't hang up. How could the microphones possibly miss it? Sleep was getting progressively difficult. At times, I thought the station under some kind of hidden stress. Materials freezing and warming in irregular ways. No atmosphere, no conduction of heat. Things get hot in the sun's rays. Objects warm and cool to both extremes. This is routine stuff for anything up in space, of course. But it didn't stop me thinking about all the ways the station was just a pile of metal that could come undone, could break and tear, bend and stretch. Like watching the wing of your plane wobble during turbulence, it's an uncomfortable reminder that you're just a monkey in a fancy toy. And what if something had come loose? Something. Oh, haha. At first I stuck to this notion strictly, asking myself what if some antenna or strap or bit of metal had gotten loose and was banging against the hull? That would be bad. But of course, that wasn't really what I was thinking. It's what I wrote to HQ about. Over and over and over. But what was really on my mind was the thought that maybe, somehow, he had gotten loose. And of course, that's not so silly, right? The specially designed bag he was in, the one that would vent any gases produced by decomposition while maintaining his body's integrity, was brand spanking new. Know how many times it had been tested? Never. Never ever. Ben was the first, so of course it might come loose. Just because it's space-age technology doesn't mean it's sophisticated. He was strapped to the outside like a Christmas tree to the family sedan. Maybe, I wondered, one of the straps had broken, and now he was thumping against the side every now and again. Never mind that there wasn't anything out there to prompt that kind of buffeting. No air, no wind. If he'd come loose, he'd just float a little farther away. But something was making that noise, and I worried almost constantly that it was him. Only problem was I had cameras. Lots. And all of them, every single time, showed the same thing. The bag, barely changed from when I last saw it in person, strapped firmly and securely to the station's hull. This should have reassured me. Should have, but it didn't. Something was out there, tapping at the hull. On and off. No pattern, no reason, no correlation. It came and it went, seemingly choosing its moments to bother me the most. Sleep was difficult for multiple reasons. The tapping was bad enough, but lately my nightmares had taken a strange turn. Black, cold. In them I was trapped in a suffocating film. Freezing cold. Non-stop agony. Fighting furiously to free myself was this black void of a nightmare. Like all deeply terrible dreams, it colored my thoughts for the rest of the day, and each time I had it, it got harder to shake. I tried to endure, compartmentalize, take my mental turmoil and put it in a box, right unhinged across the lid, and sit rocking back and forth waiting for my rescue. And that was an option, a good one. But there was one little word that stopped me going the route of, and a bunch more like that. Well, I haven't written any of those, but I agree with them. I looked at Ian and he nodded. No, you don't understand, honey. I received the same messages from your aunt when she moved here. Exactly the same ones, word for word. I should have questioned it more then, but... So what? It is great here. Why don't you stay for a while? I'm sure you'll understand then. Eleanor, have you lost your mind? This isn't like you. You wouldn't answer any of our calls, or... My father started raging, but then Mum turned around to look at him. I couldn't see her expression, but my dad suddenly got silent. Actually, I think that sounds like a terrific idea, she said. The four of us had a nice dinner and went to bed quickly after. When I woke up, I was in the back seat of a car, with Ian fully passed out next to me. My father was sitting behind the wheel with my mother in the passenger seat. "Mum?" I mumbled, slowly coming to my senses. "Where are you taking us? We have to go back." Suddenly, my heartbeat started racing. My mother kept shaking her head. When she turned around, I noticed tears in her eyes and a big scratch going down her cheek. I kept blinking a few times. Sleep was claiming me, and I could hardly keep my eyes open. The last thing I heard was my mother saying something strange. "I don't care that you're an adult. I don't care that that house belongs to you. That place is not right. And I'm not losing you like I lost her." I've been back home for a few days. Not in heaven, but in my real home, with the family I'd almost forgotten about. I talked to my parents for a long time. Dad doesn't understand anything and thinks Ian and I lost our minds. But Mom seems to get it, especially after I told her about the note I found. She's trying everything to keep my mind sharp, hardly ever leaving my side. I've been strong so far, with her support, but I can't say the same for Ian. He seemed cooperative at first and listened to my parents. I thought we might be able to get through this. But yesterday, he disappeared without even a goodbye, and I have a damn good hunch where he went.